Hello friends, welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal Idunyate, and today we are working once again in my 2021 October daily album. Today's story, number 27, is all about food, Halloween inspired food. Throughout the month of October, I love to plan some special days where our family creates food or has dinner that's inspired by different Halloween characters or movies or the such. So as the month of October was going on, I was taking pictures of all these different meals that we had or snacks that we made, and I wanted to create a layout that featured as many of them as I could. In order to do that, I created this 3x8 photo that included a whole bunch of the photos in a grid shape or a grid layout. And I love the way that it looks. For the left side of the spread, I'm going to add in a page of journaling, which I've already printed off, and you'll see I will cut it out here if I didn't already. So it's sized to go outside of the page protector at 4¼ by 8¼ Actually, no, that's incorrect. It'd be 4.875 by 8¼ And then the bottom half of that has my journaling on it. For the top portion of the page, I'm going to add in this banner, and there will be 4 lines to the banner that will have my title in it, which will say "Eat, Drink, and Be Scary," which I think is just a super cute sentiment for documenting food. For the banner itself, I'm cutting out a bunch of little tiny squares or rectangles of pattern paper. These are sized at 3/4 inch wide by 1¼ inch or 1½ inch in length. I want to say it's 1½ inch by 3/4 inch. Then I am just cutting them into the banner shape by going from the center of one of the smaller ends and cutting up to the corners of the top. And that creates these triangles that I'm going to use for the banners. Once I have all of those triangles cut out, next I'm going to add them onto my journaling page here, trying to make sure that everything is spaced where I want it to go. I also want to go ahead and hole punch the page so I can make sure that I'm not accidentally adding the banners where those holes are going to be, and then later on hole punching them and not having this look the way I want it to look. So I always try to hole punch first before I add any embellishing or photos onto a canvas. With the holes punched in my page, now we can start to add on the banners. I'm going to put them on here first before I adhere them down. That way I can make sure that they are evenly spaced and that the page feels balanced. Similar to the last layout that I did here, I'm just going to try and make sure that two of the same pattern are not necessarily touching each other when they are on the page, or they're not next to each other. That's going to make this a little bit more varied with the different patterns and the different colors, but it's also going to make this feel a lot more balanced in the long run. This is going to be 4 lines in total. So the top is going to say eat, the next line will say drink, the next line will say and be, and then the final line will say scary. So eat, drink, and be scary. For the lines themselves, the banners, there are 5 banner shapes per line, which allows me to go all the way across the top or all the way across the entire canvas without covering up those holes that we punched previously. I'm also going to look into adding some decorations on top of a few of the banners. I have pulled out some cut files that I had previously cut, so I've got these little lines of spider webs. I've also got a line of bats, and instead of using it as a full line, I don't even know what it is originally intended for. Maybe borders. It was maybe supposed to be a border. Instead of using it as a border, I'm actually going to cut those pieces apart and use them almost like individual little tiny die cuts that I can add on top of my elements, such as the little tiny banners here. So I've got spider webs, I've got the bats. I may also pull over my die cuts just to see if I have anything in my die cuts that works out. I ultimately end up liking the bats the best. So I think when I go back to actually adhere things onto the triangles, that I will use the bats. Another thing that I'm going to try out is to take some patterned acetate. I have clear with gold stars. I might have another one too that I will try out. And I will try to cut the same exact banner shape and layer it on top of the already cut banners, especially the black, because the gold stars on the clear transparency shows up really well on top of the black. One thing I will say about this layout in particular is that it is incredibly tedious. So the footage that I had of video to edit was long, maybe an hour long, because it did take me a long time to cut out all of those little rectangles, to trim them down into all of those little triangles, and then to finagle with everything, trying to figure out where it should all go and should it be embellished and all of that. It is a lot of work. However, I will also say that it is totally worth it because it looks so cool. This is a way that you can take pattern papers, cut them apart, and turn this into your own pattern paper. I could have totally made the entire page out of these little banners and just had that be a pattern paper in and of itself. That would have been cool too, with no journaling at the bottom. It's just a fun way to use your paper, and to use especially those tiny itty bitty pieces of scrap paper that you might have remaining. Now, I did go ahead and pull out some stickers, some alpha stickers. You saw me there just very briefly. I have both white and black from the same manufacturer. I believe they are both from Paper Person, and that's going to allow me to use the white text on the darker colors and then the black text on the lighter colors. I'm also deciding here that I'm going to go with the bats. So I have stuck the bats to the side and put everything else away because I'm not going to use it. I don't need to worry about it. Before I add anything onto the banners, I do want to stitch them down. So in terms of adhering, I just very lightly added some roller adhesive to the top part of the banner and stuck it down. They are not completely covered because once I have them stitched, it's not going to matter if they are not totally adhered every little bit down on the paper. And having some of it that still comes up off of the page helps to give this a little bit more texture as well. So I'm stitching a line just across the top of the page. And then I'm also debating whether I want to add my photo on the right hand to the back side of the next page, which you'll see here, I believe tomorrow, that video will be going up. And right now it has this blue background with black bats on it. I decided that I wanted something a little bit more black and white so that it paired better with the banner page. So I have this black page with white polka dots. I'm going to trim out a section of this. I believe it's going to be 3.875 by 8.25, which gives it just a little bit of room for the photo to go around the outside of it. We'll hole punch this one so that it can be added in to the album, and then I'll just adhere that back to back with the next page. So no big deal. That's how that's going to look there. I love it with the black and white contrasting around the outside. And then since I printed this photo with the white mat around it, that also helps to make those little tiny pictures super pop off the page. I did add the Eat, Drink, and Be Scary on the banner side, so you can see how that turned out, and the mix of the black and the white alpha stickers. And then I'm going back in to see where I might want to add those tiny little bats. What I will do is have them kind of swirl up the page, for lack of a better way of explaining this. So I have two on the bottom right side of the banner, and then they progress up towards the left and then veer back to the right at the very top of the page. And I think that that looks really cool. I also decide to go back and bring back out some of the spider webs that I have. I have some black spider webs, and then I also have a sticker set that's got these almost holographic type of spider webs. So I will trim them down in order to make them fit onto the page, trying again to just give some balance. So I have a spider web in the bottom left-hand corner. I've added one into the upper right-hand corner just to give that sense of balance there as well. I'm also going to look at my washi tapes, because something that is bothering me about the left side is that it just feels kind of this stark, I don't know, like space. I don't like that the holes area of my banner page is white. It feels unbalanced. It feels like there needs to be more color there. So I pull out my black and white striped washi. This is one of my absolute favorite washi's. It's super old and I need to find another one for this year because I will probably run out of it and then I will cry. For this layout, I decided to add just a little strip of it on top of the holes, and then I'm going to punch it back through here, use my tweezers to pull out the hole punched part because they are sticky, and because it's washi, it won't come out of there super easy. So I just picked them out with my tweezers, and then we can add that back into the page. And now you can see how much better that looks with some pattern along that edge. It feels so much better than just the white. I will then add a tiny little label into the middle of my photos and also my number 27 for this story. That's going to do it for this one. I hope that you enjoyed seeing this layout come together. If you did, I would love a thumbs up on this video down below. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and if you enjoy these types of videos. I will be back tomorrow with another layout in this album. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, friends.